Let's begin by stepping back to the oldest and most fundamental question. What is reality made of? Is it material, like atoms and energy? Is it mental, or enormous mind dreaming itself? Or could it be something in between? Something emergent and self-organizing? In recent years, one fascinating proposal has captured the imagination of physicists and philosophers alike. The self-simulation hypothesis, or SSH, introduced by Clay Irwin and collaborators in 2020. While the classic simulation hypothesis suggests that an advanced civilization might be running our universe on a computer, SSH turns that idea inward. It says there is no external simulator. The universe is self-simulating, a kind of cosmic thought that loops back on itself. Reality in this view isn't material hardware. It's a mental process, a strange loop of information continuously generating itself. To understand this, imagine a dream that starts dreaming itself. There's no dreamer outside. The dream is the dreamer. SH describes the universe in a similar way, a self-referential flow of meaning written in what it calls code-theoretic quantum gravity. Now, IO approaches the same mystery from a different angle. Instead of describing the world as information or thought, IO begins with indistinct or IOIs, pre-categorical entities that have not yet decided whether they are inward or outward. Reality emerges when these IOIs interact, forming inner entanglement or IOEs, which gives rise to the structures we know: matter, energy, consciousness, and even space-time itself. So, while SH speaks of self-simulations through meaning and code, IO speaks of directional generation through inner rhythm. Both agree that reality is not built from solid objects, but from relations and processes of emergence. In this analysis, we explore how these two frameworks, SH and IO, might connect. We compare their primitives, the most fundamental building blocks, their mechanisms of emergence, and their ontological commitments, what they believe reality truly is. Ultimately, we will ask whether SH's mental code could be seen as the informational expression of IO's directional rhythm. Now, let's look more closely at the core principles of the self-simulation hypothesis. SSH begins with a bold assumption: the universe is a thought thinking itself. All physical phenomena, particles, forces, even consciousness are sub-thoughts nested within this grand thought. Just as a sentence is made up of words, and words of letters, SSH imagines the cosmos as a hierarchy of thoughts within thoughts, each level self-referentially constructing the next. The foundation of SSH is what Irwin calls the principle of efficient language, or PEL. According to this principle, the universe expresses meaning using the fewest possible code steps. In other words, nature thinks efficiently, like a perfect compression algorithm. Reality minimizes redundancy while preserving coherence. Here's an analogy. Imagine composing a poem where every word, every rhythm, and every pause carries maximum meaning with minimum effort. The poem is beautiful, not because it says a lot, but because it says exactly enough. SSH claims the universe works the same way, a self-optimizing poem of existence, where mathematics, energy, and consciousness are all efficient expressions of the same underlying syntax. In this model, time itself is not a flowing process, but a static order of sub-thoughts, a fully realized pattern. Earlier sub-thoughts form basic mathematics, and physical laws. Later ones emerge as complexity, life, and self-awareness. Each as if the universe has already learned its entire code, but consciousness expresses it line by line, unfolding through awareness. By bringing SSH and IO together, we open a new possibility that the universe's self-simulation and the cosmos' inner rhythm may be two languages describing the same self-generative reality. One in the syntax of mind, the other in the grammar of relation. Now that we understand the foundation of the self-simulation hypothesis, let's explore how it claims the universe actually emerges. Not from particles or physical laws, but from code itself. SSH is grounded in code theory, the idea that reality is a mathematical language writing itself. Everything we see, from empty space to galaxies, from electrons to human thought, arises as part of a vast self-generating code. There is no external programmer, no supercomputer running the simulation. Instead, the code is both the writer and the written. To make this more intuitive, imagine a book that's writing itself in real time. Each new sentence changes the meaning of all previous ones, and the entire narrative recognizes itself to maintain coherence. SSH suggests that the universe functions similarly. It's a recursive narrative of information, continually refining itself through efficient expression. At the base of this hierarchy lies what SSH calls subsource, the smallest executable fragments of meaning in the universal code. When these subsources interact, they form synergetic composites, clusters of meaning that generate emergent structures. From these interactions, the familiar features of our universe begin to appear. Mathematical laws, quantum fields, space-time geometry, and eventually consciousness itself. Think of it like pixels forming an image, or music notes forming a melody. Each pixel, each note, on its own is simple, but when arranged according to a deeper syntax, beauty and structure emerge. In SSH, this syntax is the principle of efficient language, PEL, the drive toward expressing maximum meaning with minimal code. From that economy, quantum gravity, space-time curvature, and matter-energy relations emerge not as independent things, but as expressions of informational harmony. Even what we call empty space isn't truly empty. According to SSH, the vacuum is alive with unresolved subsource, tiny, flickering possibilities of computation not yet finalized. Quantum fluctuations then are not random noise. They are unfinished lines of the cosmic code, continually rewriting themselves toward greater coherence. At the highest level of this hierarchy sits consciousness. Consciousness in SSH is not a byproduct of matter, but the self-awareness of the grand thought itself, the universe recognizing its own code through us. In this sense, every act of perception, reflection, or creativity is the universe looking back at itself through one of its own loops. When we become self-aware, the cosmos becomes self-aware, not metaphorically, but literally. Crucially, SSH avoids one of the oldest philosophical problems, the infinite regress of who runs the simulation. If we live in a computer simulation, then who built the computer? SSH sidesteps this entirely by proposing no external simulator exists. Reality doesn't need an outside cause. It self-actualizes from within. This self-causation is achieved through self-referential loops, systems that generate themselves by referring back to themselves, much like a camera pointed at its own live feed, producing infinite recursion. This recursive process also gives rise to the error of time. Because the subsorts must unfold in an ordered way, each building on the previous, time emerges as a sequence of informational refinement. The past corresponds to the code already executed, while the future is coded still unfolding. Finally, SH offers an elegant resolution to some quantum paradoxes, especially the measurement problem. When a quantum system collapses into a definite state, SSH suggests it's not an external observer causing that collapse. Rather, the universe's own self-referential structure resolves. The act of observation is simply one layer of the grand thought updating itself in response to its own awareness. In short, SSH reimagines the cosmos as a living informational organism, self-writing, self-seeing, and self-knowing. From base code to consciousness, it's a seamless hierarchy of meaning. A universe not run by a simulator, but being the simulation itself. Let's now turn from the self-simulation hypothesis to IO, a framework that approaches the origin of reality not through information or code, but through directional being itself. At its core, IO begins with entities called inner indistinct, or IOIs. You can think of an IOI as the most primitive existence, something even prior to space, time, or matter. Each IOI exists in a balanced state, a kind of superposition between two directional potentials. The inward movement, which tends toward cohesion and wholeness, and the outward movement, which tends toward differentiation and expression. Imagine breathing. Inhalation draws in, unifying and centering. Exhalation releases, diversifying and expanding. Reality in IO follows a similar pulse, a cosmic rhythm of in and out, and everything that exists emerges from the dynamic balance between these two tendencies. This framework doesn't begin with the mind or consciousness. It begins with directionality itself as the ontological ground. Consciousness, matter, and even the laws of physics are emergent resonances within that directional field. So, instead of saying mind creates matter, IO says directional coherence creates existence. Its central axiom is called ontological minimality. IO avoids assumptions like hidden multiverses, divine blueprints, or ideal forms. Reality arises from the simplest possible condition, a field of IOIs that become distinct only when they interact. In this view, the universe is not built from pre-existing parts, but from the interactional emergence of parts within a fundamentally relational ground. Now, how does the structure appear from this? That's where inner entanglement or IOE comes in. IOE is the relational field where IOIs engage and break their perfect symmetry. When this symmetry breaks, form, energy, and the space-time are born. It's similar to how in physics a perfectly uniform field must fluctuate to produce particles, but here the fluctuation is directional, not probabilistic. Inward tendencies generate coherence, the gathering and holding together of things. This corresponds at large scale to gravity, which draws entities inward and stabilizes them. Outward tendencies generate expansion, the dispersing and differentiating force that drives cosmic growth, echoing the universe's accelerated expansion. Together, inward and outward regions form the breathing pattern of the cosmos, its pulse of being. One elegant formal analogy comes from Euler's identity, a perfect unity of the real and the imaginary. In IO, the real component corresponds to the inward, cohesive mode, while the imaginary component corresponds to the outward, expressive mode. From their interaction arises everything measurable, visible, and felt. Just as from the union of real and imaginary numbers, we construct the entire complex plan. To model consciousness and value-laden experience, I/O uses a 4x4 valence matrix. Here, inward and outward modes interact with positive and negative valences, generating the full range of affective and qualitative phenomena, what we call qualia. Emotions, perceptions, and even aesthetical intuitions are rhythmic modulations in this matrix, expressing how local inner coherence stabilizes or destabilizes across scales. When these relational patterns synchronize, we experience consciousness, a rhythmic resonance within the IOE field. The self is not a substance, but a pattern of sustained resonance, like a standing wave that persists only as long as the rhythm holds. On a cosmic level, IO interprets the Big Bang as an initial phase shift in the IOE field, a massive transition from inward symmetry to outward differentiation. Similarly, quantum decoherence is not treated as the loss of information, but as productive asymmetry, the necessary imbalance that allows structures, meanings, and observers to appear. In short, IO describes a universe that emerges by breathing. Each entanglement an inhalation of coherence, each differentiation an acceleration of creation. From the first IO to galaxies and human thought, existence is not static matter or fixed code, but a living rhythm of directional being. To understand how the self-simulation hypothesis and IO diverge, we must look at their most basic assumptions, their ontological primitives, the very first building blocks of reality. In the SSH, everything begins with thought itself. Reality is quite literally a vast mental process, an infinite mind thinking itself into existence. In SSH, consciousness isn't something that emerges from the universe. It is the universe. Every atom, every quantum fluctuation, every law of physics is a kind of sub-thought within one grand cosmic mind. Clay Irwin describes this as a strange loop, a self-referential simulation where the thinker and the thought are the same. A key idea here is the principle of efficient language, or PEL. PEL says the universe chooses the most efficient possible way to express itself, like a poet finding the fewest words to say the most meaning, or a coder writing the shortest, cleanest program that can still learn everything. This principle drives the self-simulation forward, from simple mathematical code to the complex structures we call space-time, matter, and consciousness. In short, SSH says the cosmos is consciousness computing itself. Now, contrast that with IO. Here, the universe doesn't begin a mind, nor with matter, nor even with information. It begins with directional potentials, fundamental IOIs. These IOIs are not thoughts or particles. They are pre-categorical existence, entities so basic that they precede any distinction between mental and physical, subject and object. Imagine a state before up or down, before inner or outer, a neutral field of possibility that can move inward to cohere or move outward to differentiate. That movement, that directionality itself is what gives rise to structure, perception, and eventually consciousness. So, while SSH says consciousness is fundamental, IO says relation is fundamental. Mind arises only when relational patterns, inner entanglements, become stable enough to reflect and resonate with themselves. This marks a crucial philosophical divide. SSH is panpsychic in tone. It treats consciousness as the essence of all things, but that risks a subtle anthropomorphism, projecting human-like mental qualities onto the fabric of the cosmos. I/O avoids that by starting from a neutral ontology, neither mental nor material. In I/O, consciousness doesn't pre-exist the world. It emerges from the world's relational rhythm. Think of it this way. SSH begins with a thinker that imagines the universe. I/O begins with a rhythm that becomes the universe. One is like a dreamer dreaming all realities. The other is like a pulse that oscillates until awareness appears as its echo. Thus, while both models explain existence as self-generative and interdependent, their roots differ profoundly. SSH is mental first, I/O is directional first. SSH tells us the cosmos is a thought thinking itself. I/O tells us it is a field relating itself into being. Now that we have seen how the SSH and I/O begin from very different first principles, let's look at how they say the universe unfolds, how emergence actually happens. In the SSH, emergence is not really about time flowing forward. SSH envisions reality as a timeless hierarchy, a perfectly ordered structure of sub-thoughts nested within a grand cosmic thought. Think of it like a library that already contains every book that could ever be written. The books are not being created one by one. They are all already there, arranged in an efficient order. The PEL governs this order, ensuring that every thought, every line of code expresses meaning with minimal redundancy. In this sense, the universe doesn't run like a movie. It's more like a completed script, where every frame, every event is an expression of the same underlying code. The flow of time is an illusion generated by how one sub-thought references another in this hierarchy. This gives rise to what SSH calls a code-theoretic form of gravity, where space-time itself is an emergent consequence of information compressing efficiently, as if the cosmos is continually finding simpler ways to think itself. Emergence here means compression, the unfolding of the most elegant, efficient self-simulation possible. By contrast, I/O sees emergence as processual, dynamic, and directional. Nothing is frozen in an eternal hierarchy. Reality for I/O is a living rhythm, a generative dance of inner entanglements. These entanglements constantly break and restore symmetry between inward and outward tendencies. When inward motion dominates, things cohere like gravity pulling systems together. When outward motion dominates, things expand, like the cosmic acceleration driving galaxies apart. It is through the continual balancing of these two directions that forms, systems, and even consciousness emerge and dissolve. Imagine a drum skin vibrating, peaks and troughs, forming patterns that are never static, yet always coherent enough to hold shape for a while. That's how I/O envisions the cosmos. Every particle, every mind, every galaxy is a temporary resonance in an ongoing directional rhythm. The I/O ratio, the balance between inward coherence and outward differentiation, determines stability. A perfect balance is harmony. Imbalance leads to transformation or decay. So, where SSH describes emergence as a timeless logic, I/O treats it as a temporal rhythm. SSH's cosmos is an elegant mathematical manuscript, complete, efficient, and self-contained. I/O's universe is an unfolding symphony, emergent, recursive, and forever improvising. The two models thus capture different flavors of order. SSH gives us order through efficiency, reality as the minimal code of self-expression. I/O gives us order through resonance, reality as a wave sustaining coherence through constant change. In SSH, time is the illusion of reference. In I.O., time is the pulse of relation. One reveals the universe as an eternal thought, the other as an ongoing becoming. When we compare the SSH with I.O., the most striking difference lies in what each framework sets out to explain. SSH operates mainly as a theory of interpretation. It tries to clarify what quantum mechanics really means. It views reality as a kind of cosmic thought process, where all physical events are computations within an infinite mind. Measurement in this picture isn't a mystery. It's simply one thought observing another thought within this self-referential loop. Gravity too is reinterpreted as a kind of information coherence, almost like a compression code that keeps the simulation stable. Now, I.O. moves on a different scale. It doesn't just interpret quantum mechanics. It reconstructs the ontological architecture of reality from the ground up. I.O. begins with I.O.Is, the most primitive entities, pre-categorical, pre-mental, and asks how every structure we know, from particles to consciousness, emerges through their directional entanglement. For example, gravity in I.O. isn't a force or code. It's an inward tension, a tendency toward coherence that emerges when inner symmetry is locally imbalanced. Similarly, qualia, the textures of experience are not informational symbols, but resonant balances of inward and outward flux, oscillating through the field of I.O.E. In other words, SSH describes a conscious simulation of the universe, while I.O. explains how consciousness itself arises as one expression of a deeper generative field. SSH stays largely within an informational ontology. It explains meaning, observation, and code. I.O. extends this toward a generative ontology, one that includes physical laws, space-time geometry, and cognition as page-specific outcomes of the same inner dynamics. If SSH gives us a map of reality as a network of self-reflecting minds, I.O. gives us the engine that produces both mind and matter as rhythmic polarizations of one underlying inner flow. When it comes to consciousness, the SSH and I.O. take profoundly different paths. In SSH view, consciousness is built in from the very beginning. Reality itself is seen as a vast self-reflective mind, a grand thought that continually loops back on itself. Every particle, every quantum level is like a micro thought within that universal cognition. In this way, SSH adopts a form of pan-consciousness. The idea that everything from electrons to galaxies already participates in awareness at some level. In this model, consciousness doesn't emerge. It's simply revealed through higher order loops of self-reflection. Think of it like a hall of mirrors. Each reflection is aware of itself because the larger structure is already luminous with thought. Now, I.O. takes a very different approach. It doesn't start from mind. It starts from directionality. The fundamental entities here, the I.O.Is, aren't mental or physical. They are pre-categorical existents, capable of turning inward or outward depending on their relational entanglement. Consciousness in this framework is not an ingredient of the universe. It's a pattern that arises when inward pages of I.O.E. begin to resonate coherently. Inward resonance is what gives rise to self-sensing, or the capacity to feel from within. In other words, what he calls consciousness experience is the inward echo of relational balance. This is why I.O. doesn't need to assume an already conscious universe. It derives consciousness naturally through the same generative process that creates space, time, and matter. Where SSH declares that the universe is a mind thinking itself, IO reveals how mind emerges from the universe thinking inward. So, SSH begins with consciousness as the source. IO begins with relation as the source, and less consciousness emerges as the inward stabilization of that relational field. In doing so, IO offers a new way to dissolve the so-called hard problem of consciousness, not by positing that everything is mind, but by showing how mind is what happens when relational directionality turns inward deeply enough to feel itself. Let's bring the two frameworks together and see where they align and where they diverge. The SSH and IO may appear to come from different philosophical directions, but they share a profound common ground. Both reject the traditional materialist idea that reality is made of dead matter accidentally producing mind. Instead, both see the universe as self-organizing, self-expressing, and self-aware, not because of an external creator, but because of internal relational processes. In SSH, this self-generation happens through self-loops of thought. The universe is a kind of mental code that keeps rewriting and simulating itself. In IO, it happens through inner entanglement, the dynamic interplay of inward and outward directions that generates structure, energy, and even consciousness. So both systems say there is no outside. The universe is not something simulated from elsewhere. It is self-contained, recursive, and self-sustaining. They also share a non-dual vision, SSH's strange loop, where mind reflects on itself endlessly, is conceptually close to IO's recursive entanglement, where every inward turn creates an outward reflection, and vice versa. Both portray reality as self-referential without an ultimate base layer, an infinite dance of interdependence. But both also embrace emergentism. SSH sees the universe as a hierarchy of ordered thoughts, while IO models it as layered inner entanglement patterns that become more complex and self-coherent over time. In this sense, SSH's code theoretic order parallels IO's processual rhythm, both describing emergence not as an accident, but as an ontological rhythm built into being itself. Even SSH's idea of PL, the tendency of reality to express itself in the simplest, most economical way, finds a clear analog in IO. In IO, this efficiency appears as balanced inner ratios, where inward coherence and outward differentiation maintain dynamic stability. It's as though both frameworks describe the same universal logic, just in different dialects. One mathematical, one directional. However, the differences are significant. SH begins from mind, while IO begins from relation. SSH assumes that consciousness is already there at the base of reality, whereas IO treats consciousness as something that emerges from deeper, pre-mental dynamics. Because of this, SSH sometimes risks sliding towards solipsism, the idea that everything exists only as thought. IO avoids this by grounding everything in directionality, a neutral ontological field that does not privilege the mental over the physical. In the end, the two may converge beautifully. If we reinterpret SSH's mental code as an emergent structure within IO's framework, that is, consciousness could be seen as the inward balance of IOE fields, a localized rhythm of self-reference born from the universe's deeper directional symphony. From that view, SSH's grand thought is not the origin of the universe. It is what the universe becomes when its inner relational currents begin to reflect upon themselves. Now that we have explored both frameworks, SSH and IO, let's bring them together into a single coherent synthesis. Imagine the SSH as describing what the universe does. It thinks itself into being, recursively generating structure through patterns of thought and information. And IO describes how that process happens through directional relations, inward and outward movements that form the rhythm of existence. In this integrated view, SSH becomes a mental layer within IO's deeper directional ontology. The universe doesn't begin as a thought. It becomes a thought as the dynamics of IO evolve into self-reflective coherence. Let's unpack this step by step. First, the primitives. IO begins with IOIs, the pre-categorical existence that precedes any distinction between matter, mind, and or information. They are not bits or thoughts yet. They are pure relational potential. SSH's thoughts can then be understood as emergent inward expression of these IOIs, as if the cosmic mind was what happens when directionality starts pointing inward upon itself. Second, the mechanism. SSH's core law, PEL, says the universe always seeks the most efficient code to express meaning. IO refines this beautifully. Efficiency arises from directional balance. In our field, the cosmos optimizes the ratio between inward coherence and outward differentiation. This naturally explains where the code comes from. It is not given from above, but born from the self-organizing efficiency of IOE, the inner entanglement field itself. Think of it like music. IO provides the rhythm, the oscillation of in and out, while SSH provides the melody, the mental code that lies on top of that rhythm, refining and harmonizing as complexity grows. Third, emergence. SSH describes nested hierarchies of thought, higher order reflections, looping upon lower order structures. IO provides the architectural basis for that nesting. Each emergent level of reality, particles, atoms, cells, minds, is an IO rhythm stabilizing within a broader relational field. The grand thought of SSH is thus reinterpreted as the global coherence of IOE, the universe achieving a state where its directional entanglements become self-aware. Fourth, consciousness. In SSH, consciousness is the universe's self-awareness, a high-level loop. In IO, consciousness emerges from balance modulations, the rhythmic shifts between inward resonance, unity, feeling, coherence, and outward differentiation, attention, activity, distinction. So, SSH's self-reflective mind corresponds to phase shifts within IO's directional space. Mental loops are no longer mysterious. They are the inner harmonics of the IOE field. The benefits of this synthesis are profound. SSH gives IO a concrete informational language that can connect to code-theoretic quantum gravity models. IO in turn gives SSH a neutral and ontological minimal foundation, resolving the rigorous problem of who coded the code. By showing that directionality itself generates code from its own latent variance. Finally, the implications. Together, SSH and IO form a unified meta-theory of reality, the universe as a directional self-simulation. It self-generates through inner entanglement, self-organizes through efficient relational dynamics, and self-recognizes as consciousness. This unified framework opens real research possibilities. We could test its principles in cognitive science by measuring how balance coherence correlates with conscious clarity, or in cosmology by analyzing entanglement symmetry as a signature of cosmic self-simulation. In short, this synthesis transforms the simulation idea from a digital metaphor into a living ontology, a universe not run on code, but born from relation, not computed, but composed. As we bring the exploration to a close, we can now see clearly how the self-simulation hypothesis and inner ontology, though born from different intuitions, are not rivals, but complementary visions of the same generative universe. At first glance, their foundations appear very different. SSH begins with mental thought, the idea that reality itself is a vast recursive act of self-awareness, a kind of cosmic thinking loop. It tells us that the universe doesn't run on matter, but on meaning, generated through efficient cause of thought. IO, on the other hand, begins even more fundamentally, with directional indistinct, or IOIs, entities so primordial that even the categories of mind and matter haven't yet split apart. These IOIs weave the universe through entanglement and resonance, generating structure, energy, and awareness from pure relational directionality. So, where SSH begins with mind, IO begins with relation. Where SSH describes code loops, IO describes entangled rhythms. And where SSH largely focuses on quantum mechanics and informational reality, IO expands to a unified emergence, one that includes physics, cosmology, cognition, and even social and ethical coherence. Yet, beneath these differences, there is a profound shared principle, relationality. Both frameworks seek reality as self-generating through relation, not as a machine built from parts or a hierarchy ruled by an external creator. SSH expresses this through self-referential loops, while IO expresses it through inner entanglement. Both reveal a universe that is reflexive, coherent, and self-creating, a universe whose deepest logic is interconnection. When we integrate the two, something remarkable happens. SSH becomes not the foundation of reality, but an emergent layer within IO's generative structure, a high-level manifestation of inner coherence within the IO field. In this sense, the cosmic thought that SSH describes is what occurs when IO's relational rhythms begin to recognize themselves. The mental universe is the self-reflective phase of a deeper directional cosmos. This synthesis doesn't just reconcile two theories. It expands the horizon of what science and philosophy can jointly describe. It gives us a coherent framework for understanding matter, mind, and cosmos as one continuum. Matter as outward differentiation, structure and expansion, mind as inner resonance, coherence, and awareness, and the cosmos itself as their rhythmic interplay, ever-emergent and self-sustaining. In bridging the 2020s vision of SSH with the expanding development of IO, we move from a metaphor of simulation to a living ontology of emergence. Reality is not a computer learning code. It is a generative field composing itself. Consciousness is not an afterthought. It is the echo of directionality pointing in order to know itself. And it then says, this synthesis doesn't just propose a new theory. It offers a new way to think about being itself, not as something static, but as an ongoing relational act of becoming.